Hi, this is video number 2. I hope that you watch video number 1 before you watch video number 2 because it's all connected. This video, the goal is to speak in more detail about retrograde menstrual flow and answer questions like, what is this? Does it happen in all women? And what things can make it worse? Okay, there's another website, and the exact link is obgyn.ucla.edu/body.cfm?ID =203. On this page it says, how does endometriosis happen? Causes of endometriosis. There are several different ideas of how and why endometriosis happens. One idea is that when a woman has her period, some of the blood and tissue from her uterus travels out through the fallopian tubes and into the abdominal cavity, or the pelvis. This is called retrograde menstruation. Sometimes it's called reflux menstruation. Another idea is that some cells in the body outside of the uterus can change to become the same kind of cells that line the uterus. This is a common explanation for endometriosis at unusual sites, like the thumb or the knee. I've never met anyone that had it in other parts of their body besides their pelvis, but I have read rare conditions online where it's been found in other parts of the body. Usually it's found progressively worsening in the pelvic region of the body. Another possible explanation is that cells from the lining of the uterus travel through the blood vessels or through the lymphatic system to reach other organs or body areas. Also, endometriosis can spread at the time of surgery. So endometriosis can spread at the time of surgery. For example, a woman with endometriosis that undergoes a cesarean section could inadvertently have some endometriosis cells attached to the abdominal incision so that she has endometriosis in the scar from the surgery. Interestingly, nearly all women have some degree of retrograde menstruation. We need to say this again. Interestingly, nearly all women have some degree of retrograde menstruation. All women. So this means this is an occurrence that happens in all of our bodies, and that means that there are things that could make it worse or better. Then it goes on to say, but only a few women will get endometriosis. Now that part of the phrasing is very misleading because a few is a term that is very vague. It's very broad. It can be interpreted in different ways. But when you look at the statistical data and say 1 in 10 women has endometriosis in the US, 5 to 10 million women are estimated to have endometriosis in the US. 176 million women in the world are estimated to have endometriosis. On average, it is estimated women have endometriosis that progresses for 10 years before it is ever properly diagnosed or attempted to be treated. So, a few in comparison to the entire world of all human beings, I guess you could call that a few. But when you consider this is of epidemic proportion, it's no longer properly described as a few. Now, it goes on to say, this may be due to differences in a woman's immune system. Also, endometriosis is much more common if a close relative also has endometriosis, so there may be genes that influence endometriosis. So, this is just really important for every woman to understand this and absorb this information, because we are not taught this in sexual education. At least I wasn't, and I'm going to be 32 this year. I went to college. I did not complete my degree. I did not have that opportunity, but I did very well in school. I loved my studies, and my biology books never explained any of this. My anatomy and physiology books never explained any of this. Books on reproduction never explained any of this. Sexual education never explained any of this. And I have never met another woman in person. I've interviewed now probably at least 50 women, and I've never met a single woman in person that had ever heard of retrograde menstruation before, except for one, and she was the woman who did my many, many ultrasounds leading up to my surgery on my ovarian cysts, which led to the discovery of my endometriosis. So we're going to move on to video 3 in the next video and talk about some other theories regarding endometriosis.